Saka is just, he always just that active red line, defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Just as the big man said there, in the Ian Wright derby, or we could call it the Lokonga derby, Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 1. Bit of revenge for us Arsenal fans after on St. Patrick's Day. They got rid of our man Patrick Vieira, people. Commiserations to Crystal Palace. You know, I think you lot will stay up. There's about 3, 4, 5, 6 points separating 12th to 20th. So it's a bit mad for them. You know, Arsenal ends a tough run of fixtures that Crystal Palace have had, people. And also, you know, now they're going to be playing against teams that are fighting for relegation. So every game's a 6-pointer for them. So commiserations for them. They weren't helped with an injury mid-game. Well, before the game with Yochin Anderson having to be removed from the starting 11. Don't know for his injury. For Arsenal, though, first things first, the only statistic that matters is winning. 3 points on the board. Great reaction to the disappointment of obviously what happened with us going out of the Europa League on Thursday. Lovely to see Rob Holding step in, and you know the absence for today of Saliba wasn't felt. Great collective team performance. 3 points, good reaction. We go into the international break on a high. I'm a happy man. You know, if I take you back through my notes, people, I think, you know, I'll get onto it. What we could have done better, if there is that, because we always need to take the good and make it great, chasing that illusion of perfection. We can't just waffle about improvements when we lose and gas up things when we win. We were superb today. Great performance. Happy that there was no managerial bounce. You know, you've all seen the various statistics pointing towards Crystal Palace's struggle since the turn of the year and actually their recent form in the last 11, 12 or so games. Happy to see there was none of that. In fact, in the second half, it was really just Crystal Palace. Well, not even Crystal Palace. It was Arsenal versus Zaha. He looked a man inspired. And there were a couple of occasions. There were a couple of nervy moments when Zaha woke up in the second half. There was a couple of that could have went in. Ramsdale had to make 1-2 saves. Of course, I'm disappointed not to have a clean sheet and to concede from a set piece again. I think, you know, the action or phase of play that led to Zaha getting the ball, the corner being given away, and actually the defending on the corner could have been a lot better. Even in the last dying embers of the game with Eze, I think we could have defended a bit better. I think there was elements of complacency naturally within our team, but it is what it is. Going back through my timeline and my notes that I was doing, big up to everyone that's been part of my watch along. Smash the like button and comment your own opinions. Don't forget, 11:30 a.m. we'll be going over Arsenal Crystal Palace on Monday and also any emerging Arsenal talking points. 3 p.m. I've got fellow Arsenal supporters. We're going to be speaking Arsenal Palace and anything else you lot want to speak about. Make sure you've hit the like button, you subscribed, and the rest of it. If you're not going to do anything else, smash the like button. It helps our platform grow. But yeah, first 10 minutes, naturally, you know, it looked like Crystal Palace were going to kind of be rigid in terms of their shape, fight for the first and second balls, kind of press us when they could. I felt really, and ironically, like the goal we conceded, the only way I could see Crystal Palace scoring is kind of what's been harming Arsenal this season, you know, taking advantage of us attacking and hitting us on the counter-attack and those defensive transitions, really. Then they were the only things where Zaha was running in behind. You know, there was an incident in the first couple of moments where Ramsdale saved, but actually it would have been offside. I don't know how it have went in if VAR would have had a look. You could see Holding getting tight, White trying to push on as well. And at times they were having to time that. I felt initially, it's not that anyone weren't doing good, but I like the fact that Odegaard and Saka are very confident and probably sometimes a bit greedy in that they're trying to force an opening when really a pass is on. And I think Odegaard did that. I think even Trossard did that. I think even though he got 2 goals and an assist, Saka did that. From the jump, though, I think Martinelli, Granit Xhaka and Benjamin White, they look like the ones that were really on it from the start, really. I think initially, within the first 20 minutes, I think the shape of Crystal Palace, I won't say frustrating us, but they were holding on sort of thing. I think we were kind of open on the counter-attack. I think our decision-making needed to do a bit better, but I thought we would win the game because we looked up for it. We were winning our battles. It only looked like the counter-attack. But when you haven't scored that first goal, you need to go and get that. It was lovely to see, you know, it was lovely to see us score our first goal. Saka's found Martinelli. Martinelli's took it on his left, smashed it home. I can't lie to you. I think the 2 best players from Crystal Palace was Zaha and obviously that young lad in goal. Even though he's conceded 4 goals, I think he can leave with his head held high because I think a lot of his more experienced teammates from that first goal went in, I think their heads dropped. Palace couldn't get out of their halves. To a degree, it became irrelevant what their final third players, the Zahas, all these guys could do because they couldn't get out their half. When one man is winning the first header from Crystal Palace, they're not clearing their lines and they're playing into Arsenal's hands. And as I kept saying throughout my watch along, I could smell blood. I could see blood. It felt like we could score a lot of goals here, people. So it was lovely to see Saka score. After that, we started having a bit more pressure. You know, Odegaard dragged the shot wide. Odegaard had a couple opportunities, you know. It felt like it was the beginning. It was the beginning, kind of of the end, really. And it felt like towards the end of the half, we should have had two. And obviously, we then got that the assister in Saka. Forgive me if I'm wrong and I'm a bit off, but he became the goal scorer. Obviously, after Saka scored, really lovely link up play between him and Benjamin White. Once again, Crystal Palace not clearing their lines well. I don't care. That's a second goal. We go into halftime at 2-0. As we know, 2-0 is a dangerous lead. Holding on to 2 goals is a dangerous lead. You know, fellow North Londoners in certain man went away from home and couldn't do that yesterday. So yeah, at half time, I felt Palace are giving the ball away cheaply. They're not clearing their lines. I smell blood. They only look threatening on the counter attack. A couple of our players are being very greedy. I think we had a very strong end to the first half. I think Holding's holding it up and doing quite well. I think we're knocking it about. Okay, we're doing well, but you know, this season we've been spoilt for goals with Arsenal, and we're one of the top goal scorers in the Prem. So I think I echo everybody's thoughts. Bro, let's score some more goals, really, and put the game beyond even more reasonable doubt. In the first half, we had 9 shots, 3 on target, and 2 goals to spare. Palace had 2 shots, 1 on target. We had 3 corners, they had 1. We had 69% of the ball to their 31%. We played 323 passes to their 150. Our pass accuracy was at 88% and theirs was at 72. We're passing forward a lot more and being a bit more adventurous, so it probably is even more daylight. Crucially, we've got the 3 points in our hands, which is the only statistic. I felt when Xhaka scored, it was a crucial moment. 10 minutes into the first half, we then conceded around the 60-odd minutes. So that tells you from the 10-minute stage in the 55th that Xhaka has scored to the 60-odd. We kind of took our foot off the gas, and I actually felt for, you know, that kind of 10-15-minute period, we looked a bit complacent, if I'm honest, in the build-up that led to the goal as well. Initially, and big up Xhaka as well, Trossard, Zinchenko, great build-up. That was actually my favourite goal because any of you that was part of my watch along, you could hear me say, look at the run from Granit Xhaka. He made the run from early before the balls even got to him. So it's nice to see players are more confident. They're thinking. Ultimately, it's a result of the training ground. We've scored, in it, so we're laughing at that point. Obviously, we've let ourselves down via a set piece, and it's now 3-1. Obviously, it is what it is. That's one where we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and use this international break for the players that are available and not playing for their countries to really arrest that now, because we've seen it against Bournemouth, Man United, today against Palace, and probably some other examples, really, really and truly. As I said, there were some incidences where we could have done better. Maybe Gabriel and Odegaard could have done better with the corner. Benjamin White and Zinchenko maybe didn't have to give the ball away. The incident that led to Zaha running down the left wing, when I watch the game again, we have to see that. Prevention better than cure. So, yeah, Slop scored. No clue why VAR is getting involved on Slop's goal or for Saka's first one, I believe. But fair enough. You know, I guess they've got to use their VAR system somehow. So, yeah, I did think when Palace scored, we had a little sloppy period between minutes 60 or 71 where we're quite lucky not to concede again, really. It's lovely. It's obviously lovely to see Tierney come off the bench, get an assist, and Saka to get a brace. You know, 2 goals and an assist. FPL boys are going to be happy if they've got Bukayo Saka. We've scored 4 goals. We've won the game. We've got 3 points. We go into international period in high spirits. We now sit top of the table, allegedly. I don't check the league table. 8 points clear. City know what they have to do when they're next back in Premier League action as well. And obviously, it would have been a dark place losing today and losing on Thursday going into the international period because, you know, you're not playing for a week or 2. So it is where it is, man. We did well. I've got nothing more to say other than, you know, we did what we needed to do. We coped with the threat of Zaha. We didn't keep a clean sheet, but everybody leaves with a great performance. Players came off the bench and done well. Players that started, specifically the front 3, did all right. Always lovely to see Smith Rowe and Jesus get some minutes as they're kind of continuing their rehab. Lovely to see Kirill make his home debut in his minutes. Lovely to see Tierney play as well. Big up Rob Holding, because we all know the headlines had this of went south. You know, I think Holding had a good game. He could leave with some credibility. Zaha's a tricky customer, and you saw, you know, sometimes he's going to get past Holding and White. Zaha's been doing this in the Prem, so we did well, really. I'd say unless you're Zaha or Crystal Palace's keeper, they're the only 2 players I feel could leave with any sort of credibility. And I just think Palace lacked belief, really and truly, and their heads dropped from the first goal went in, really, you know. So I'm happy with that. Please let me know your thoughts. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest of it. Let me know your thoughts. Turn on the notification button. We've taken 3 points. We go again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for those of you that consistently check out my content. Come on, you Gunners. On that note, one love.
So it's just always just that when defending.
I think it's like